Yeah, I think maybe I have a different opinion on this than everyone else. This Akaash Singh drama that's been happening. I was very surprised. I don't know about you guys. I was surprised Akaash and his wife were on the podcast this week. I was not expecting to see, what is her name? Jesleen?
Jesleen, I think.
Jesleen? That can't be it.
We're calling her Jesleen.
Jesleen Singh was also on the podcast, which I was very surprised by. Now, they did it in a, well, let's play the first clip. They did it in a way that is exhausting, but I can't criticize him too much for this. This is Flagrant. This is kind of Schultz's brand. He's into pro wrestling and all that shit. But when I saw this, I think I saw this clip on Instagram before I knew the podcast was up. And I was just like, oh, God, this isn't how they're going to approach it, is it?
It is.
Brother, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You can't imagine what you've been going through the last few weeks. Tell us, what's been on your mind?
Dude,
what's been on your heart?
I'm so glad you asked me, man. It's been really hard for me.
Hard for you?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Jesleen Singh is in the building! She wants vengeance! Security is here! Security is stopping her! The Punjabi power! Oh my God! She's abusing the security box! Guys, it's absolute pandemonium and chaos here! Akaash has brought out a comically large pair of scissors! He's cutting them down! Oh my Lord! Jesleen! This is a podcast, not a frat house! What are you doing? Stay back! Tonight on Flagrant.
So that was exhausting. That was pretty exhausting. But to their credit, when I saw that, I was like, oh God, there's no chance we're having a real discussion. And they did, ultimately. Like, the boys settled down after that. And that is very flagrant. Like, this episode is definitely not going to turn anyone where you're like, oh, I hate all the episodes where they're over laughing and falling on the floor. But I bet I'm really going to like this one. No, it was them to a T. But my take on it was this. I give her a lot of credit for going on there. I did not think she would do that, even though it was a soft landing spot. And you can tell Schultz is a good friend, which I'll get to in a minute. But I give her credit for going on there and kind of facing the music a little bit. A lot of people think she was lying in this stuff. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I'll tell you why when we play some of the clips. But like, to me, when I saw like podcast cringe, I just saw the title of his video about this, and I was like, I can't even watch it. I try to stay away from some of this stuff because I know I'm going to talk about it. But I saw he put out a video that was the worst episode of Flagrant ever. And it's like, oh, I wonder what his take on this is. You know, like, I get to a point with some of this stuff where it's like, okay, well, if everything's terrible, then nothing is. If you hate all these guys so much that everything they do is bad, then you start to wonder, why are you covering them every week? You know, like, if Bert Kreischer is the worst thing and no one should ever watch him, why are you watching him week after week? You know, there has to be some admission that you're interested in these guys. You know, like, and I feel like some channels never really offer that. I didn't think this was like so mockably bad. I give Akaash credit for for letting her come on and kind of dealing with this head on, more or less. And I give her credit. Now, it'll be interesting to see what she does. Well, we'll talk about that later. Let's see how it's handled right out of the gate. Schultz is also a very good friend, and I like Andrew Schulz. I'm not a Flagrant fan at all, really, for some of the reasons I just stated. But I like Andrew Schulz a lot. I like how he kind of created his own success in comedy. I like the way he went about that. I like the stories I hear from other comedians, how he has offered people help over the years. I just like Schultz. And I think this episode, if it's proof of anything, it's that Andrew Schulz is a good friend that has his boys back.
Mike, she's popping that puss is the next one.
Yeah, so she's going to explain. This was a thing that was heavily questioned. And I'll tell you why I kind of believe this answer to a degree. Most people do not. But I got Jesleen's back on this one.
Popping pussy.
Yeah. Let's just get some definition.
Okay.
We're gonna terms that you might need to know the actual meaning of. Alex is here to break it down.
fair, I thought it was just like dancing, getting dressed up, and maybe that was my mistake.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge that.
Look at this.
Big one.
Yeah, the act of getting dressed up, looking fly as hell, wearing a minimum of 3-inch heels, preferably higher, and dancing your ass off
Urban
into the
Dictionary
wee hours of the morning.
is
That was
made
what
by
I
a
was
white
doing.
man.
Yeah, this is white people's definition of it. This is what you learn.
Don't go to Urban.
Guys, what do you think popping pussy is?
You see?
Joey Kursay is not that. Okay? They're doing more than security
That
here.
was my bad. That was my
Okay.
bad.
So, I mean, they end up looking it up on Urban Dictionary, and it does mean what she thought it meant. My thing is not even that. I thought it was clear when she was like, I was popping my pussy and hooking up with guys. I thought she was clearly going out of her way to make it seem like she was fucking guys and wasn't. Like, the language she was using, to me, was very clear to skirt around that stuff. But the main reason I think she's telling the truth, or she's really stupid, which, based on the clips we've seen of her, is certainly possible. But she would be really dumb and naive to think that she's 30. She grew up in the internet era. 30 years old is probably the perfect age for people that watch Flagrant. If there are guys out there that have fucked her, they're going to come forward. Or people that were at these frat parties that saw her fuck someone, go into a bedroom with someone or something. Like, people are going to start telling those stories. So it would be really dumb of her to lie. Everyone's like, oh, she's lying about this. I think it's true. Even the thing she says about hooking up, which I think is one of the next clips, that was the case in my school as well. So maybe this is just like a generational thing or something. But I kind of agree with everything she's saying. It doesn't seem like that far-fetched a lie to me. Is it all still embarrassing for Akaash? Sure. I think the stuff that's way more embarrassing, I don't care if she's a virgin or not. I get that was their story and they kind of shamed other people for not having that story. So it looks crazy hypocritical when it seems like it's a lie. But the thing that's way more embarrassing to me is her philosophy on life, where she's like, I'm a stay-at-home wife, but I don't cook or clean. His money is my money, and my money is my money. Like, that shit to me is way more embarrassing. And I would have liked them to question her on that a little more instead of the sex stuff that I don't really care about.
Roster of guys. Sorry. This next one.
Yeah, so this was the other thing that they, and again, credit to Schulz and the guys. They brought up every question. They were very easy on her. There were not a lot of follow-up questions. Like, they didn't hammer her on stuff. But they brought up every topic that I think fans would want them to bring up, which not a lot of podcasts would do that necessarily. They would try and skirt around some stuff, but they address it more or less head on.
Other definitions out of the way?
Yeah, let's get some
Okay.
other
Yeah,
definitions. Yeah.
Allegedly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here,
Yeah.
is it true that you said that there was a rotation of guys?
A roster.
Roster.
Yeah, what does a roster
that?
mean to
Okay,
you?
What does
so
this mean?
You guys
Yeah.
have to understand, have you ever heard of the repressed Catholic schoolgirl?
Never.
Yes.
I was, okay. So I was
His Catholic school was in his living room. Imagine how repressed he was.
I was a repressed Indian girl that I didn't even watch Jersey Shore in high school because I felt it to be too inappropriate. So when I got to college, I'm like, oh my God, I can dress however I want. I can do whatever I want.
You can have a roster of frat
Okay,
boys.
But
What does a roster mean?
so it didn't
yeah.
actually translate to a roster. It just meant like two guys I was talking to and flirting with at the same time. That's it.
That's all.
Yeah.
And when you say hooking up, I think people
When
think you
I
meant
mean
fucking.
hooking up, I just meant making out. Again, like everything I say
That is what it meant
so,
in my high school, by the way. Like, if you said, oh, they hooked up, you meant they made out with each other. So, like, maybe it's an age thing, but, like, people think she's lying because she said that. That is true, at least where I came from. Maybe it's regional. I don't know.
Yeah, we finger bang out here, Mike. We don't make out. We go
You
right for the.
You're damn right.
so amplified and hyperbolic because it's so like incongruous to who I actually am as a person.
Right. So you're saying you're a big old prude.
Yeah, literally.
Now, I will be honest, as much as I was heartbroken by what was going on with you guys and definitely with, Akaash, my brother, there was a little part of me that was like, it would be hilarious to come in here and find out you had a huge roster and was lying about being a virgin this whole time.
It'd be funny for you.
It would have been heartbreaking for you.
Yeah.
You
But
waited
as-
your whole life to share your virginity with a girl and she threw it to some frat house 20 years ago.
A white dude.
A white guy! A fucking white guy!
Never.
Got that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone thinks she's lying about that. I don't. I'm sure I'm going to get shit for it, whatever. I didn't take that as a lie. I think she was trying to be shocking and edgy on this dumb podcast that she does and her TikTok and all of that. And I think she was trying to make it seem like she lived the life she wasn't. Or again, she's really stupid because we live in an age where if she fucked a bunch of guys, someone's going to talk. Like someone's going to come forward with that story. Maybe I've missed it and it's already been on Reddit or something, but I haven't heard these people come forward. She's the perfect age for people that watch Flagrant. If she was that, open with her sexuality, people are going to start coming forward that knew her because this oddly became such a big story. Like it crossed over. It was not just Flagrant's audience or comedy fans that were into this. There were people that don't follow this stuff that asked me, hey, have you heard this Akaash Singh stuff? So this did cross over as like a pop culture story for some reason. I didn't take it as she was lying. I think she's kind of a dumb, naive girl. That's how I took it. Maybe I'm going too easy on her, but I didn't take those as lies, really. I also think if she was lying, she probably wouldn't be in the podcast.
Yeah, no, she's and she's having fun. She seems like she's not hating it. It's called Gold Diggers, this next one.
Yeah, this is the thing I have much more of a problem with than the sexual stuff. Again, their brand was that they waited till marriage and their first was each other. So I get why people called that out. But like the gold digger stuff was much more eye rolly to me. I was like, Jesus Christ.
In terms of the gold digging,
Yeah.
like
Serious.
do you consider yourself a good gold digger?
Yeah. Because I invested low and waited for it to go high.
You're a gold prospect.
That's not a gold digger.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're like a what is that? You're like a hedge fund manager.
Yeah, you're like Akaash with Bitcoin.
Exactly.
No, she's like a value investor. Get the goddamn saying right. She's a value investor. She bought low when it was a nothing company, and now it's something.
Akaash was making this got kind of rolled over too. Akaash said he was making like 6 figures when they met. So it was not nothing.
That's nothing for an Indian.
I understand like living in New York City, it's expensive, all of that. But he was making 6 figures and she was working at Goldman Sachs. So this was not these were not two hobos that found each other in an alley.
We've been astroturfed again, people. These are Richies.
And it's like,
She bought much lower than I did. she bought at the bottom, dude. She could not have bought
That is
lower.
something that
but
is.
to be fair, it's like I was working too in the
I wasn't.
beginning,
One
and
of us
you
was
weren't.
working.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
When we met, I worked at Goldman Sachs. I got a job at Deloitte after
She was
I
a
graduated
consultant.
college.
Yeah.
I was a
I was
consultant.
sleeping in till
I
12
worked
a.m.
in
12 p.m.
data analytics.
You're a gold digger.
I was
we got the gold digger right
I know, it
here.
backfired on me.
You got this girl sleeping on the ground.
Yeah, I know. This whole thing
I
backfired.
was paying rent.
I used to really believe that you guys were poor with his sob stories so we could get Patreon going. I didn't know you were working at a fucking hedge fund this whole time he was spending your money.
Well, I wasn't making that much. I was making like 70 grand a year in New York City on 2 people.
But that's good, though.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Okay, so then when did you guys get really broke? And why did you stay with him?
2018. Okay, do you want the real answer or the fun answer?
I want to know the real answer.
Give us the real answer for once so I can defend you, for Christ's sake. I'm trying to defend you, lady. She's like, do you want the real answer or the fun answer? The fun answers have gotten you into trouble. The fun answers have had everyone calling you a whore for 3 weeks. Enough with the fun answers. You're not good at them.
The fun put your husband in the cuck chair.
You stupid bitch. I'm trying to defend you here. Enough with the fun answers. Give us something real for once.
Like, I want to know that, because I heard this beautiful story that Akaash told about you guys sleeping on the floor and then like him wanting to give you his North Face or something. And then you gave it back because you're like, it's not Mew Mew.
Yeah, so like she did roll with the punches a little bit. Like they busted her balls. Again, it was a pretty safe landing spot, but I give her credit for doing it. And there are a lot of different ways this could have gone. Like I said, she's with her husband and all of his friends, so it's a cozy environment. But there's a lot of people, based on who we thought she was when she was discovered here through this controversy, there's a lot of people who would not have handled it this well that fit into that stereotype. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people whose like philosophy is like, oh, he makes the money and I get to spend it. Those personality types wouldn't have a good time laughing about this controversy, you know? So that's the main thing I gave her credit for. And maybe I'm going too easy saying, like, I believe her recounting of why she said all that stuff. But I do kind of believe it makes it harder when you find out like, oh, she worked for Goldman Sachs and he was on MTV and they're acting like they were like completely broke. You know, it makes it harder for me to defend them then because I'm like, well, they do lie. So I don't know, but maybe I'm just, I'm a sucker.
Staying together.
Okay, so let's hear why they were able to stay together. Now, the weird thing about this story is like she broke up with him because he didn't have enough money, and then got back together with him when he did have money. Not a great look for her, but she's going to try and clear that up.
Couldn't wait a week. God damn.
Yeah.
Stay. That's
Okay, I stay because I felt like as soon as I met you, it was love at first sight. I loved you. Like, I don't know. I just felt like, and maybe like you feel like that when you guys met your wives or your fiance. It's like, you just like know when you have that special connection. It's like, okay, like God picked this person out for me. And like everything he did from top to bottom, like his character, his integrity, his personality, like I just like loved everything.
I will say, hold on. In real time, my opinion might be changing on this whole thing. Because I will say this is how people talk when their marriage is doomed. You know? It's almost a cliche at this point to say that, like, when you see someone posting on Instagram, there she is, the love of my life, my angel that I'll do anything for. They're going to be divorced in 6 months. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, so when you hear people talk like this is not how a married couple talks that's been together for... How long did they say? 11 years or something like that? They've been together a long time. Yeah. This is not how couples talk when they've been together that long. So, you know what? Maybe I am starting to smell some bullshit.
About it. So I was like, okay, like I don't want to just leave because we're going through a hard time, because I really believed in like his potential, like just like you did.
For sure.
You know, because you were more successful than Akaash, like in the very beginning and stuff, and now you guys.
I tried to fool you. She's like, you were much more successful. You wouldn't fuck me, so I settled for this guy.
Whatever.
I also believe that he was incredibly brilliant and talented, but also just an amazing soul and an incredible person.
Exactly. But I also knew that about him, that he had like ambition and this work ethic. So I was like, okay, like.
Yeah. So like maybe there is a little more bullshit than I just think with that college stuff, like people would talk. You know what I mean? Like if she was fucking a bunch of guys, I think enough people would know that would eventually come out. So that's why I do kind of believe her there. But this is like an insufferable person. Let's not get it twisted. You know, people will now react to this and be like, Mike's defending her. Mike loves her. It's like, no, I get why people find her obnoxious to deal with. This is just, I think, about as good as they could have handled it. Like I heard a lot of people say, I talked about it with Carl on WATS the other day, where a lot of people think they handled this terribly. Oh, it's the worst way they could have handled it. I don't know what they could have done better, because people already wanted to call him a simp. There's a great song about it. Shout out Crack Amico. And people already wanted to call her a gold digging whore. So they were going to continue doing that. I don't know what response they could have had that would have been better than this. Take out the Jerry Springer stuff at the beginning. You know what I mean? We didn't need that. But like once they got into it, I don't know what they really could have done better. I think people wanted Andrew Schulz to fucking grill her and expose her. That was never going to happen. Schulz is Akaash's friend and business partner. That was not going to happen, that he was going to try and ruin their lives and marriage over this. So like, I don't know what they really wanted out of this. I thought they addressed everything basically head on.
All right, and I reset the internet, so everything should hopefully be working here.
All right.
Okay, the other thing that we saw these videos of was the ducking the kisses. That was those. Listen,
these ones pissed me off.
That I'm guilty of.
These ones
guilty of
pissed
that.
me off, and I didn't like it one bit. And I need you to explain yourself immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to know.
Honestly, I
also,
didn't,
can I just say that I would watch the videos and I would die laughing. As a friend who loves him, I would die laughing because they did it. They edited it so perfectly, where like he's going in and then It doesn't remind the last minute. But he's already got his lips pursed, so he got to commit to the kiss.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to check out the Shifty edit right there.
That might have been Shifty. Shifty might have been editing those.
Shifty made it.
Shifty?
Chef.
Anyway.
Those pissed me off.
So tell us about the duck. Do you always duck his kisses when there are not people around?
No, not when there aren't people around, just when there are people around. And I never even
That's
knew.
worse.
I never.
See, I appreciate them calling certain stuff out like that. Like, she did do a lot of like embarrassing stuff to him. I don't really understand her answer, and maybe she is ultimately using him. But that's where I get into. I don't want to dissect their home life. I'm not interested in that. Like, at home, is she nice to? I don't know. That's where it all gets to be a little much. I'm just talking about her answers on the podcast and everything. Like, she seems like an odd girl, you know, and a little obnoxious. But that seems like kind of all it is to me. I was expecting this to go much more poorly. When I saw that video where she, you know, kicks in the door and comes in like it's like she's stone cold, I thought this was going to go much worse than it did. She didn't embarrass herself. There's a lot of people with these personality types that we make fun of on TikTok or whatever that would have handled this much, much worse than I think she did. I think Akaash did a good job of not speaking for her. I think a lot of guys would have been like, no, here's what she meant. He let her do the talking. He was like, hey, you got me into this fucking mess. Explain yourself, you know?
You get yourself out.
Yeah.
I didn't
Explain yourself.
I didn't know that I
Tell
did
us
that.
why.
I didn't know that I did that, so I really sat and thought about it. So I think it's a few things. I think it's like
You really sat and thought
yeah,
about it.
because I was like, okay, maybe it's like the repressed Indian girl thing where it's like I get a little bashful, I do get a little shy, despite with the internet things.
Most Indians do. I'm the exception.
Yeah, I think I also get overstimulated because Akaash does it a lot, like every 30 seconds, like a little bit. Like,
He is a simp. Oh, no. So he's a guy who was a virgin till he was whatever age, and now he's very lovey-dovey with his wife. He likes that he has a hot wife, and he's very, very lovey-dovey with her. You see a million of these guys. And so she is kind of calling him a simp in that way, which is funny.
Yeah. We've all simped a little bit, Mike, for the right, you know.
This is where it is a little shitty of her to be like, I would think she would be like, yeah, I just basically put you through hell with all the shit I've been talking on my podcast. Let me cover for you a little bit. And she did go on this podcast and was like, oh, he's just so needy with his affection. That is kind of shitty. You know what? I'm starting to come around to the boys' side on this one as I re-listen to this.
The tanker's shifting in the water. Takes some time, but it's gonna move.
Yeah. I try to be much more lenient because I see channels, like I said, with Podcast Cringe where it's like worst thing ever made, you know? Mm-hmm. Or Unique does that a lot, and I like Unique, and we play his videos often. But Unique his titles are always like Brendan Schaub humiliates himself. And then it's some clip that I'm like, I don't even know why you posted this. Like it's some mundane thing. Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen hate each other. And it's some clip where like Brian Callen rolls his eyes at something Brendan said. It's like, like I said, either if everything is terrible, if everything is a 10, then nothing is. Sometimes you got to be like, all right, this was like it was embarrassing for her. I'm more curious to see where it goes. My mic is falling. I'm more curious to see where it goes because she just obliterated the entire personality she cultivated. You know?
Yeah.
She was this gold-digging sex maniac, and then she went on a massive podcast with 2 million YouTube followers and said, I was lying about all that stuff, or I was exaggerating all that stuff. That's not really me. It was a character. What does she do now? Next week on her podcast, does she go back to talking about having orgies and all that shit? Or is she now the conservative Indian girl that the prude that she really is, or is claiming to be? That to me is much more interesting than this podcast, is where she goes from here.
I got an idea for her. 100 top gays. Make a list.
Yeah, so we've said
100 top Indian gays.
Yeah.
Next one's called Orgy.
Yeah, so, and this is one that I thought got overblown. She's talking to her friend about her friend's husband and her husband. It's like if you're that kind of couple, I don't do that with my friends really, but if you're that kind of couple, I don't find this that weird. I think people got too up in arms about it. We hear male comics do this all the time. Literally every week on the regs, I hear Lewis make a joke about fucking Bob Kelly's wife. And no one's ever been like, how could you spit in the face of the sanctity of marriage like that? No one gets angry about it. It's not that big a deal. She said her husband or her friend's husband is hot and we should all have an orgy. I think that's her trying to be shocking and outrageous. This is her explanation.
Okay, what the fuck was that joke? Because I think for a lot of people, myself included, like I saw that and I was like, why would she even joke around about that?
Yeah.
With Akaash there and like what was the what was the backstory to that?
Now looking back, like it's been pointed out to me, and I get that. I feel like for us, I think I learned so much of my humor from Akaash, not to like justify it, but just to explain like, oh, if I say these absurd things, it's so funny because it's not who I actually am.
Right.
But I kind of forgot.
Craig thinks these people need a translator anyways, so I'll do my best. What she's saying is she didn't have a personality. You know? She was just a vapid, young, attractive girl that had no personality. And so she imitated and mimicked what she saw on Flagrant. She was around those guys and was like, oh, let me be ball busty and outrageous like them. And she was bad at it. I believe that, personally. I believe that she was a vapid, personality-less girl. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that explanation. I don't think it was more calculated than that. I think she was trying to come off as funny and shocking, and when people found it in the context they did, they were like, what the fuck is this?
That like the internet doesn't know all these multi-dimensions of my personality, so they're just seeing this one thing.
Right.
So the orgy joke started with like Akaash being like, oh, Nav's really hot. Like Akaash would show Nav's picture to his trainer or whatever, because he's like really like, ripped or whatever.
I will say also, if she had a body count, I would have been like, hey. Cut the. But because she doesn't, and I know how like innocent she actually is.
Oh, you are a virgin? That's real?
I was a virgin until I met him, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't, that body count thing, I'd have been like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Because I would have been insecure about it. But I can be, not that I'm so secure, but with that joke, I'm like so secure.
Oh, I absolutely would feel insecure.
And I think stupidly, I was like, oh, it's an orgy, so it's all of us. It's not like talking.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like, they did a good job of calling her out while maintaining, a friendship with these people. Like, I thought Schulz in particular handled it pretty well. She's sticking with the virgin story, and a lot of people think she's lying about that. I don't know why she would. I mean, I shouldn't say that. People lie all the time and are exposed. But my logic is just she'll get found out eventually. This was the opportunity to be like, we exaggerated that story. I've been with a couple guys. Like, this was the opportunity to do that. Now she's made it. I'll say this. If she is lying, she has made it so much worse for herself. The cover-up is always worse than the lie, Like, this was your opportunity to be like, oh, yeah, I fucked up. Like, that wasn't a true story we were telling. If she does it now, it's going to be catastrophic for her, I think.
Next one's all talk.
Yeah, so this is what she's saying, and that she's she's all bluster. It's just it's all an act. It's a character, like Mr. Imus. She's just playing a character.
I mean,
but how come you can have a joke about outsourcing hand jobs and blow jobs?
But aren't you cool with the hand jobs?
Yeah.
You're cool with him just getting a hand job massage?
Totally.
Are you
Yeah, I know.
Yes, I've said that it's less work for me.
I don't.
Can you talk to our wives?
I don't believe this. Can I tell you why I don't believe this? You remember Horrible Decisions?
Yeah.
You guys were like, dude, I think your girl will be down. We should keep saying how pretty Wheezy is. And I was like, even then, I was like, no, the fuck. She's all talk. She's all bluster. That's why I haven't tested the hand job
Paper
thing.
Tiger.
She's our dog. She's a yapping little dog behind a fence. Nothing's gonna happen. There's no bite. She's all bark, no bite.
So you would say that, but in reality, if he actually did go get it.
Okay, like let me think about it. If you actually did go get it, yes, like I think it would bother me like 30%, but I feel like 70% I'd be like, okay, whatever. I put you through a lot the past couple weeks.
Like he deserves it.
Yeah, I feel like I owe it to you. I feel like I owe it to you.
I do kind of deserve it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. Akaash knows her better than we do. So I kind of take if he said here's what I will say. Here's a disclaimer for all this. I'm always wrong about this stuff. Do not trust me. I always use the steel toe example where I was like, why is Patrick saying they're going to get divorced and she's on drugs and all this stuff? And then wouldn't you know it? Sure enough, all of it came true. So I guess my mentality is always like, oh, wouldn't Akaash know his wife better than the internet does, better than we do? I guess just a lot of times the internet knows you better than you know yourself. And so maybe I'm not giving that enough credit. But like when I hear Akaash say that, I'm like, oh, maybe he knows something we don't. Or he's a complete simp. But like I said, I think that'll get us exposed eventually. If there's enough internet sleuths out there and people that want attention that I think if they are lying, there will be much more to this story.
Next segment is work.
Yeah, so this is what bugged me about this lady, is the idea of like not having to work and their finances and all of that.
I like the fact that it's just less work for you.
Yeah.
And I know your day is full of work.
Wow.
Well, let's get a counter argument. Let's get a counter argument, okay? Because I think that was inappropriate and that was uncalled for. So will you go ahead and dismiss this and explain yourself on the record?
I do things.
Okay. All right. Look, my client in this case, that's
Mark,
not what
can
she
you be
meant.
a lawyer? Mark, can you be Jesslyn's lawyer in this moment here?
Mark, please help me.
Jaslene cooks, she cleans, she maintains the home on a monthly basis.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
There you go.
Not by me specifically, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you also will find people.
You schedule,
Yes.
but not you.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
schedule. Someone got to manage
We
that
all
house.
have cleaning people.
Yes.
And
Yes, I like
and-
how you call them cleaning people. That was very politically correct.
That was.
Yes,
But
that
do
was
I not
great.
take care of Happy like he's my son?
Of course. And I go on the road. I come back. It's clean. I don't know if you hire somebody or if that's you, but every time I come back, it's clean.
I hire someone, yeah.
Really? Without me knowing? Now I feel betrayed. I thought you did something.
Everyone's
That is where I was kind of like, oh, she does seem like kind of a shitbag. But she's being honest about that. You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, if she doesn't see a problem with any of it, she would say that. I think, like, why would she tell that story? Because that also makes her look bad. So that's why I kind of believe her with the other stuff. You know, like I said, maybe I'm being too lenient, but that is like what an insufferable waste. She must be terrific in bed. You know, she seems like just such a waste of a partner. But you know, Akaash likes her, so good for him.
My guess is she like doles it out like water in the desert. So he's very thirsty all the time, and she gives a little, and he just soaks it up. He's like,
Didn't
whatever you want, baby.
You see the videos where she rejects his kisses. You know,
Yeah,
so I don't know if that's true even.
Yeah, that's love, right? Next one's fake image.
Yeah, so I don't know what this person is going to be. She wants to be a podcaster and an influencer. She just fucking nuked her entire personality. So I don't know what that means for her going forward. That's the part I'm interested in. I'm taking her at face value and saying like, okay, you're not lying. So now what? What do you become after this?
Yeah, it's almost like a demon becomes an actual producer. What a loser, right? Goddamn.
I don't see the comparison, but I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so you can make all these things. You can make all these things.
Yeah.
So you're presenting this version of yourself online that's not true.
But you're actually a trad wife.
I was committing to this bit because I thought that was the funny thing to do, but I'm not a comedian, obviously.
You're not
Like, so I guess she admits it wasn't funny and didn't come across funny. I don't know what she has left. What's the next TikTok going to be about, or the next podcast? Like she has nothing. It seems like her entire personality was built on I'm a slut. I don't, you know, I like money. I don't want to have to work for it. Guys should hand me everything. I think last week I called her a reverse Andrew Tate, where she is the woman that Andrew Tate wants, except she doesn't cook and clean. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what your personality becomes. That's my takeaway from this. Not that she's lying. I think she's telling the truth. And I'm like, well, what are you now? Because you were you're a blank slate, and now whatever image you concoct for yourself, we're also going to think is fake. You know. So like I don't know what to make of this girl for going forward. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how the trolls handle it. If people keep paying attention to her, or she just kind of fades away. My guess is the latter, unless she completely bombs on how to handle this. Like if she gives people a reason to keep following her, they will.
She should do her 100 favorite curries. This is the next one.
I suppose.
PR stunt is the next.
Yeah. So some people even said this, like in our comments. People were like, it's all for attention. Like it's a fake bit. I don't get the value of that because people were calling Akaash a simp and a loser, and they were calling her a slut. No one's gonna I mean, I guess it might get a few more views on her podcast now. It might get her a few followers, but not the good kind. So I don't get the value of this, but they ask, like, was this a PR stunt?
You guys say, some people say this is a whole PR stunt for you to sell tickets and for you to
Who is that?
gain
I
popularity.
would rather it
I
be
would
a
love
PR
if that was
stunt.
true.
Yeah.
I would love
Wait a
if
minute,
that
is
was
that
true.
a narrative?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, that now
I
you're
wish.
now
I saw
you're
a couple videos
Yeah.
of saying it's like a very strategic PR stunt.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I wish I cared that little about my wife's reputation.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how that would be possible. I don't get what the benefit of that would be, you know? I guess all press is good press, but I don't know why they would do that. And how could it be? Because it was a fresh and fit exposing them so that he would have to be in on it. And they would have had to make those clips years ago. I don't get how it would be a PR thing, but that is a theory out there.
Butthole story.
Yeah, this is one, I was on her side from the beginning. People were like, what a slut. She tells this story about a guy being in her bed and taking advantage of her. And I was like, isn't that rape? I don't get it. Why is that in the slut column? But they ask her about that too.
I mean, I think people talking about the sore butthole story, because
Yeah.
that was more kind of like an assault story, but I didn't want to label it as such because I didn't think it was super traumatizing and I had already shared one.
Right.
And I feel like the internet has a quota for girls of like how many assault stories they could share, regardless of if it's true or not. Like, obviously, I
You think the
didn't.
internet would be
Oh,
like,
we
oh,
definitely
every
have a
story.
quota for how many fake stories you can share.
What?
Regardless of if it's true or not. Yeah, I told 8 rape stories. 6 of them were fake, but I hadn't met my quota yet, so I just kept rattling them off.
She tells us
Yeah,
she's
that's
getting
why I
assaulted.
didn't want to
Yeah.
do that. So I was like, oh, this happened. I didn't really say it's okay.
Yeah, again, I kind of agree with her logic there. I didn't see that as like what a slut. The story she was telling would have been a bad experience. Now, she's horrible at presenting. She's a bad podcaster and she's not good at this. I don't think anyone's saying she is. But like I didn't take that story as like, oh, see, she's a slut. She was trying to be a shock jock, an edgelord, and she was really bad at it, and it came to bite her in the ass.
Next up, personality.
Yeah, what is her personality? Maybe she'll explain it to us.
I just imagine the Howard Stern thing about the miscarriage, when he made fun of that and her doing that. Like, she needs to do something even crazier now. She needs to go even farther than the old slut thing.
Well, here's the thing. She can't. Now she cannot be, because she told everyone it's a fake thing.
So
You know what I
everything's
mean?
gonna be fake now. Yeah.
She's
she
like,
can't
oh, this
think
is
anything.
it's all fake. But she was talking about like her real life and her real husband and all of that. So she can't now go back to that because people are going to be like, what? You're doing this again? I thought it's fake. So I don't know what she's going to do going forward.
But what if she had both fingers crossed behind her back? Does that count? No takes back.
Yes. Yeah.
But this is why I think that there's
get
confusion.
confused, yeah.
To feel comfortable talking about that, but then also not feel comfortable with certain
Yeah.
sexual things. That's where the brain goes, I have to make up something.
I don't know. It's hard for me. I mean, I just am existing. I'm not trying to like. The only thing I try to do is just be myself on TikTok, but like 10 times extra.
Yeah.
And again, like not to justify,
We'll go down
but
to
I
2
feel
times.
like I've been with Akaash since.
Wait. And I think Akaash is kind of making that joke too. What? So that is you. You know what I mean? She's like, before she was like, and this is where people are right to call her out, I guess. because before she was like, I'm a prude, actually. It was all fake. Now she's like, oh, no, that is my personality, but I'm exaggerating it. So you know what? Maybe there's something to the idea that she's lying about all this, because that's a weird contradiction where she's like, oh, no, that's me. It's just an exaggerated version of me. I'm not like that all the time, but I am sometimes thirsting for orgies and trying to fuck a bunch of guys. Like, I'm just exaggerating it a little bit. So are you a prude? Is it the exact opposite of what you were? Or is it just an exaggeration?
Mike, you got to be careful what you say sometimes, because I'm going to clip that, what you just said. You like orgies and you like men. You got to be careful. That's all.
Me too, and I feel like I've learned so much of my humor from him, my personality from watching you guys. I've hung out with so many comedians, so I'm like, oh, like, be extreme, be funny, as long as your actions are a good person. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I can say whatever I want.
Don't you blame
Obviously,
this
I
on
can't.
us.
No, you're right.
Blame this on us, Jess.
I'm just trying to give context.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not blaming it on you guys.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I get what she's trying to say, I think. Like, oh, if it was in the spirit of comedy, I thought I could say whatever I wanted, which, again, I do get. And I think there is an element of, like, we saw this person out of context and we don't know her personality or anything. We just saw these clips being presented to us and we're like, holy shit, what is this? If it was from a comedian we know, then I think we would have been a lot more accepting of it. So there's something to be said for that, I guess. Like, we didn't know her. This thing came out of nowhere, and everyone leapt to judgment. But it is a little fishy and makes me question my whole defense of her when she says stuff like, "Oh, I'm actually a prude in real life. That's why I thought it was funny to say the opposite." And then later in the podcast, be like, "Yeah, I think all this stuff, but it's just exaggerated." So it's like that kind of just flies in the face of what you were saying earlier. So maybe she is a lying bitch, but I tried my best to defend her. I think if she is lying about all this, it will come to fruition eventually, and that'll also be fun to talk about. So I look forward to it. But like I said, credit to them for addressing it and having her on and asking all the questions that need to be asked. Andrew was a safe landing spot, but I think that's what you do as a friend. You're not going to hold her feet completely to the fire. Like, he asked her all the necessary questions and kind of gave her a safe out of a lot of them. So I thought Andrew handled it well as a friend. I thought Akaash handled it pretty well and stayed out of the way. And she handled it as about as good as I could have expected, which is not great, but it's not the bombing I was envisioning.
No, and let's get a female's point of view. Remember, Electra had a point of view about this lady before, and in chat she is saying, I think she is awful and full of shit. So that is the women's point of view on another one.
You're not alone, Electra. A lot of people think that. And like I said, as I'm re-listening to these clips, I am coming more to that mindset where that's a real full of shit answer. To say, oh, no. It's exactly when earlier you said, no, I'm a prude. You know what I mean? Like, that's a complete contradiction. So that does make me question her a little more, but we'll see.
We have a few more clips here. It says, this one's innocent.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we had more clips. Jesus Christ. All right, let's see what an innocent angel she is.
The big disconnect with you is like, and also there's a version with both of you. Is it you guys are so fucking innocent because you've never been with anybody. So when you say weird sexual things, you think it's absurd.
Yeah.
But you are unique in your innocence with each other.
I think that was the mistake I made, is like thinking that people would understand that.
They will not.
Yeah, they won't.
Because the immediate reaction to anybody like who's had, because Alex and I, Mark is more similar to you guys. And he's been with his wife, right? So it's like, whereas Alex and I have, we've had other chicks and like our, wives have had as well. And then we got to think about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yes. We were horse. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All the horse. Come on. No, I know. But like, so then there is a part of us probably comparing and feeling insecure and maybe feeling potentially inadequate.
Yeah.
Right. So that runs through our minds, where you guys have been with nobody, so you can feel confident being.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair to everyone, there was a time in our relationship where I would have been more insecure, but when like she's essentially homeless with me and didn't go anywhere and stayed right by my side, I think the jokes don't bother me, because it's like, when you're broke as fuck, you see exactly who a person really is. Like, I've seen her at her core. Good,
this is,
bad.
again, the homeless thing has been exaggerated. So this is where I am open to the idea that these both of them are kind of like lying or leaving some stuff out because the idea that they were homeless just wasn't true.
Yeah,
It's not true. Like you can say that, and it's fun to say, be like, we were basically homeless. Well, you weren't homeless. That's a big difference.
70,000 in New York isn't great, but it ain't homeless.
Yeah.
All of it. So I know who she is enough that none of these things I'm ever gonna take seriously because I've seen her. We've been at the absolute bot. She's seen me at my absolute worst. So if I make these jokes, if I call her a bitch or whatever, she's like, I know this. Like at our absolute worst, we still loved each other. We still stayed by each other's side. So I think that's what I didn't realize also. And I didn't think I was nearly famous enough to become a meme.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
It is pretty wild. The story got huge.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't on CNN or anything, but it was a big story, you know?
It was the largest cuck story since Aaron Imholt in the national media.
So the one thing in there that, again, maybe I foolishly understood where Andrew was coming from, but I bought into Schultz's point when he's like, well, you guys were virgins before you met. So in your mind, it's this wacky, outrageous thing to be like, oh my God, we're having orgies. You know what I mean? Like I get what he's saying there. Where it's like I bought that a little when Schultz said it, where it's like they thought they would be being shocking and everything, whereas we all looked at it as like, why is she saying this? Like she's embarrassing her husband. And if Akaash is being truthful and like they know each other hopefully much deeper than we do, then it's all good and they have nothing to worry about. And the internet will say what they say, but they have nothing to worry about. But like I said, that personality of hers and the podcasting future is what I'm interested in going forward. I'll be curious because they released an obviously pre-recorded episode last week. I'll be curious. I don't even know how to find her podcast. I don't know what it's called. That's where I mean it wasn't a PR stunt. It has not been great promotion for her, where most people don't even know her first name. They just keep saying Akaash Singh's wife.
Isn't it Gold? Last name Digger? That's how I know her.
All right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like people just call her a gold digger and they don't know her name. So it has not been great promotion. But if I can find her podcast, I'll check it out this week.
Speaking of money, this one's called Money.
Yeah. So let's hear about what's most important to her.
I like encourage her to buy stuff early on because
You gotta cut that shit.
I know, maybe. But early on, dude, and you didn't go through this.
Chill out.
Being broke with your girl and not being able to buy her anything is so fucking emasculating that when we started making a little bit, we saved for years.
These guys.
And when she was like, I don't know if we can.
What he's talking about there, Mike, is there's a few midgets behind them as part of the gag, and they're agreeing with everything being said here. They're just like midgets agreeing, like, this is terrible.
I think you hear a little Schultz's like real concern coming out too, where he's like, yeah, stop buying her shit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's again where I felt gross when she's like, yeah, I get a cleaning lady, you don't know about it. It's like with his money? What the fuck, you know?
We can afford this. I'm like, no, I promise we're safe. She was more anxious for a long time. I was like, no, this is
You know
like,
what? As my opinion develops on this, I have to call myself out on this. I'll do your guys' job for you. I'm gonna call myself out on this. I believe her with all the sex stuff, but then all the gold digging stuff, she's like, no, that's also a joke. But then prove she was lying about that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So maybe I'm being naive here. I'm willing to believe that. I would just like a little more evidence, but that is, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like she confirmed all the gold digging stuff with that maid comment. You know?
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to the fact that she's lying. I just think people will come forward. Like we live in an age where people are going to be like, I went to school with her. She was fucking everybody. I know 3 guys that fucked her at whatever frat, at whatever college she went to. Like, I just think that would happen, and it hasn't yet. So I don't know.
I think even therapeutic for us. Like,
I feel
go
like,
spend
yeah,
that.
it would almost like teach me like a little bit of exposure therapy. I mean, now probably not, but like at the
Definitely
beginning.
not.
Yeah, it's probably like, oh, it teaches your brain like, okay, this is safe. I can do this activity. Like just like how posting on TikTok was and like whatever else. But I mean now, yeah.
But it is interesting that you're going to have a different relationship to the money that Akaash makes when you guys were locked in before you had anything.
Yeah.
And you will feel more part of that journey with him.
Yeah.
Than like if Akaash is this fucking multimillionaire and then he like finds you and then you have that attitude. But what the internet just sees is a completely different picture, which is like, okay, he's got this beautiful girl and she like buying bags and that's what the thing is.
No, optically it makes sense that she would be a gold digger. She's much hotter than.
And see, like he'll say shit like that, which I appreciate, and it's like that's where I'm coming from on it. Is like, well, they know each other better than we do. I hope, unless he truly is someone that completely used him for his money. But Akaash was not. We can go, like they're exaggerating being broke or whatever. Akaash Singh still isn't famous. You know what I mean? Like this is the most notable thing he's done. I think he's doing very well. But like a lot of people, I heard this come up on like different comedy podcasts, and people was like, "Who's Akaash Singh?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the Indian guy on Schulz's show." And they're like, "Oh, okay." Like he's not some household name that a like real gold digger would glom onto in 2014 or whenever they got together. So that's where my mentality is like. He knows more than we do. Is he? Maybe he's just a complete simp, but he has more information than we do to work with.
All right, here's the last clip of the day. Break.
Oh yeah, so this is about the break that they took. That Akaash told that story, and a lot of people were like, "Yeah, but didn't you like then break up with him after that?" So they ask about that as well.
Turning all the stones. Can you dispel a rumor? I heard a narrative online that you guys were together and then you took a break for like 2 years and then when you started making money, you came back. Can you dispel this?
No, we took a break for like a month or 2 months.
After I started making money. Post Patreon. What an idiot.
Who leaves when I started making money? He had a different confidence when he was rich, right? Yeah, he was telling you to shut up more.
No, I get 12 shut the fuck ups a year.
Oh, that's the rule?
Yeah.
That's a great deal.
I got 8 left. Happy holidays.
So it is true. It wasn't that long a break, I guess, but they broke up. The Patreon exploded. Akaash confirmed that. The Patreon got big in that time frame. And all of a sudden, she's like, "Hey, Akaash." So, yeah, there is a gray area. I don't know. My defense is a little flimsy as we sit at the end of this. But I just think when people immediately, when you know what the reaction is going to be, and then they have that reaction, it's hard for me to take it seriously, So that's why I try to approach this stuff with a little more of an open mind and have it based in some semblance of reality. Because I think there's a lot of people that look at this and wanted Akaash to be this desperate loser and her to be some monstrous whore, and they never wavered on that. I'm looking at it saying, like, maybe there's something a little more to it, and as I so often am in these cases, maybe I'll be proven to be a fool, an ignorant fool who is too trusting. But we will see. I have no doubt of this. If she is lying, it will come to the forefront very soon. I think people will expose that very soon, and I mean like within the next week or two. Like I think we'll be talking about it on the next episode if she is lying. I would imagine.
Watch Reddit closely, people. It's any second it's going to drop here.
Yeah.
But Jocktober Junkie just became a member. Thank you, Jocktober Junkie.
Thank you, buddy.
And I have a free chat of the day I wanted to read because you mentioned it, but it is amazing. The new, from AirJoe2567, the new Crack Amico song has been stuck in my head all week long.
They referenced that on Patreon. It was kind of a throwaway thing, but I was glad on their Patreon episode, they shouted out Crack Amico, and Schulz said the song was very good and all that. So credit to them for addressing all this stuff. I think a lot of other podcasts would have tried to hide from it. You could argue this got so big that they couldn't. But I thought they approached it the best way they could have. I don't know what they could have done more than that. So credit to Flagrant and Andrew and Akaash, I guess.
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.